Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your sources, really get into them, and pull out the crucial insights. Begley, we do the digging so you get the shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today we're diving into a really remarkable section of That's Your Board or His Piece, and we're zooming in on pages 76 through 79 specifically.
Right.
Our mission really is to unpack the complexities, those often subtle dynamics of, social interaction relationships, especially in work and school settings.
Professional and educational, exactly.
And what's pretty amazing is how this, ancient wisdom gives such relevant, incredibly practical guidance for navigating modern life. So, yeah, get ready for some, I think, pretty profound perspectives.
Absolutely. And what strikes you immediately reading these pages is how directly it tackles the real everyday challenges.
Yeah.
And the ones observant individuals face. It really highlights that inherent tension you find with the constant, unavoidable interaction between men and women in today's workplaces. It's not theoretical. It's like a daily reality for many people.
That really puts it plainly. So it's not just what tasks you do at work, but the sheer fact of being there together, constantly interacting. It sounds like a perpetual balancing act.
Yeah.
What's the core dilemma the source really gets at here?
You've basically hit it. The core dilemma is this. Well, this kind of profound tug of war. On one side, you've got the natural drive, and often it's a good thing, to integrate professionally, right? To do well, build good working relationships, collaboration is important.
I need that.
But then on the other side, there's this deep, unwavering commitment to principles of modesty, how you act outwardly, and holiness, which is more about inner integrity, elevating interactions.
So a real conflict.
It's a fundamental conflict, yeah.
Yeah.
And demands constant, conscious navigation. You always have to be thinking about it.
And the source, it digs into the specific things that make this balancing act even tougher, doesn't it? What are those factors it highlights?
Oh, definitely. It details several key things that really ramp up the challenge. First, just shared professional interests.
Okay.
When colleagues are really into their work, it just naturally leads to deeper conversations, solving problems together, genuinely appreciating each other's skills. It's not idle chat. It's meaningful.
Right. It's substantive.
Then second, there's the generally open social atmosphere at a lot of workplaces now. It kind of encourages sharing, being open, maybe blurring those lines between professional and personal. And here's a really key insight. The source points out the long hours often spent together. Think about joint commutes or committees that run late, maybe volunteer emergency services, police work, that kind of thing.
Right.
It emphasizes that this shared time at work can often really exceed the time someone spends with their own family.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's a stark comparison. It really makes you stop and think about the pull, the gravity of the workplace.
Yeah, it does.
So, okay, with all this time together, this intense interaction, what does the source warn might happen to someone's home life if these dynamics aren't managed really carefully? What are the potential fallout points?
Well, without the right safeguards, these factors can subtly but significantly start to undermine the stability of, your home and family.
How so?
The source warns it can lead to inappropriate emotional dependence, like where work connections start filling emotional needs that ideally should be met at home.
Ah, I see.
And in some cases, it can even lead to crossing boundaries that, you once thought were solid. The real insight isn't just that it can happen, but how easily normal professional camaraderie can, almost without you noticing, erode personal boundaries if you're not watching out.
So it's insidious.
Exactly. It's the insidious nature of these subtle shifts that the source really brings to light, which is why awareness and proactive steps are so critical.
That really underscores the human element, doesn't it? We're not robots. And this is where the ancient wisdom comes in. It's not just about avoiding pitfalls, but building a kind of framework for interaction.
Precisely. That's the core of the guidance. The text brings up a foundational idea from Jewish wisdom, from Pirkei Avot. Do not converse much with a woman.
Okay, how does that apply here?
Well, traditionally, that's about avoiding idle talk, unnecessary chat, especially in situations that could lead down the wrong path, mentally or behaviorally.
Right.
But the source applies it directly to the professional world. It's a caution against unnecessary or overly long conversations, even if they start out work-related. It's about being mindful, what are we talking about, and for how long.
Makes sense.
And it also touches on dignified, modest dress, attire that doesn't draw undue attention, letting your work and character speak for themselves.
So it's not saying don't interact, but rather interact mindfully, intentionally. recognizing the human potential for, well, things to go sideways.
Exactly. That sums it up well, especially with how complex modern work is.
But you mentioned some nuance from a major authority. Can you expand on that a bit?
Yes, absolutely. This is where the wisdom gets very practical, very real world. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, a huge figure in modern Jewish law in his writings.
Yigros Moshe.
Yes, Igros Moshe. Specifically, Even Hazar 1.56. He offers this nuanced view. He basically says the prohibition on certain interactions comes from the potential for inappropriate thoughts.
Okay.
However, he concludes that someone who is genuinely focused on earning a living, it's a necessity, they can rely on their ability to sort of manage their thoughts, provided they handle interactions very carefully, keeping them strictly professional, necessary for the job.
Ah, so there's a kind of allowance, but with strict conditions.
Exactly. It's a critical distinction. It shows this delicate but possible balance between needing to work and upholding core religious principles. It's pragmatic. It acknowledges modern life, but still insists on safeguarding values.
That's a really helpful framework for the workplace. But what about other environments? You mentioned educational settings earlier, especially for younger people. The source talks about religious girls' institutions, midrashot, ulpanot. What makes those situations uniquely vulnerable, especially if there's a male authority figure like a rabbi?
Right, that's a really distinct and often very delicate situation. In these religious seminaries for girls, students, often young women, can develop this deep admiration, even reverence, for a charismatic rabbi.
Which is understandable initially.
Totally. It starts positively as part of learning, but that respect can sometimes morph into wanting a more personal, emotional connection. It might come from a natural desire for guidance, for validation. And the source is very blunt here. It gives concerning examples, cites actual cases where sharing really personal, intimate things between a student and a rabbi unfortunately led to inappropriate, deeply damaging relationships. It's a stark warning.
That's incredibly important to state clearly the potential for that trust to be broken or exploited. So what kind of really strict guidelines does the source lay out for rabbis, for male authority figures, to maintain those vital boundaries? It sounds like they need crystal clear rules.
Oh, the rules are rigorous.
Yeah.
And very direct. They're designed to protect everyone involved, the students, and the integrity of the educators.
Like what specifically?
Okay, so rabbis are explicitly told, avoid private meetings